but we're not far away with a whole bunch of equipment. I'd love to mine it if you're game.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Finish that finish it off.
Okay.
I would mine as much as I could in the next couple of years.
On a crisp morning at Paradise Hill, Tony Beets was set to make history with a record-breaking $3 million season total. But the day began with a big challenge. A $400,000 mobile trommel was down due to a burst hose. The team sprang into action, removing the damaged hose and preparing to replace it with a more durable one. Tony, ever the seasoned veteran, knew the importance of precision in these moments. "Got the old hose off," Tony said, his voice steady with the calm authority of experience. He commanded the crew to get the new hose on and have a heat gun ready, as warming the hose would make it more manageable. With focused precision, they applied lubrication and moved the warmed hose into place. Each member of the crew played their part in securing it firmly. They hammered the hose into its fittings, sealing it with a sense of accomplishment. "Excellent," Tony remarked, wiping sweat from his brow. "That's about as smooth as it gets." With the hose secured, they prepared to test the trommel. Tony's son, Kevin, took control of the excavator, a moment of pride and responsibility for him. "Fire it up," Tony instructed, eager to see their efforts pay off.
That's all done. We got the hose on, excavator in front of it. Yeah, fire it up, see what we can get out of the trommel. Be kind of curious.
All right, let's fire this up.
As water flowed through the system, Tony monitored closely. "Turn the pump on," he directed, observing the water's path with keen interest. The scene around them was both chaotic and captivating, with wisps of smoke and water mingling in the morning air. Tony pinned his hopes on the Moose Creek trommel, counting on it to process 150 yards of pay dirt per hour, a crucial boost to their gold production. "Kevin, can we start feeding dirt?" Tony asked, a hint of anticipation in his voice. "Yeah, go ahead, Dad," Kevin replied confidently. The trommel sprang to life, its mechanical whir echoing across the site. Rocks clattered as they were sorted and washed, the steady rhythm signaling progress and potential in the pursuit of their ambitious season goal.
All them rocks got to go through a 4-inch hole. That's just too much.
No, that was a letdown.
Pretty much.
We did okay with the shaker deck though, right? It ran 7 days.
7 days, so 65, 70 hours.
So maybe we should weigh that stuff up.
Yeah, let's weigh it up, see what we got.
As the first loads of dirt were processed, Tony watched intently, the weight of his aspirations resting heavily on his shoulders. This season, more than any before, held the promise of unparalleled success. And with the new hose in place, the path to that $3 million mark seemed clearer than ever. The team continued their work, hoping that the system would handle a significant amount of material.
It can handle a lot of material.
Yeah.
I like it in them sluice runs at all. Shut it out, shut it out.
Shut it down, shut it down.
Wait, wait, yeah. Good, close the fight.
However, as the operation progressed, it became clear that the water pressure was too high in the sluice runs, causing gold to be washed out. The urgency of the situation demanded immediate action, so the team swiftly shut down the system. Evaluating the issue, Tony noticed an excessive amount of water flowing out. To address this, they decided to turn the water back on, but only after adjusting the flow. Len was instructed to fire up the system again, and the crew watched closely. Realizing there was still too much water in the system, they knew they needed to tighten it off and close the valve slightly. Adjustments were made to turn the valve down by 2 turns. Finding the right balance was crucial. Too much water would wash away the gold, while too little would hinder proper separation of the dirt. Despite their efforts, the system began to clog, preventing water from flowing correctly. This blockage presented another challenge for the team, one they were determined to overcome to ensure their gold recovery efforts were not in vain. The team quickly identified another critical problem. The trommel's screen had half-inch square holes, which allowed larger gravel to pass through when it should only process finer material. This oversight meant that bigger pieces of gravel, which the trommel was not designed to handle, were getting through and causing operational inefficiencies. Ideally, a finer screen should have been installed to prevent anything larger than half an inch from entering the system. The mobile trommel used a discharge pipe to expel fine tailings from the back of the plant. However, this system was now compromised. The connecting pipe, intended to carry away these fine tailings smoothly, had become blocked with stones. This blockage was a significant issue as it caused water to back up and flood the sluice. The flooded sluice meant that any gold that might have been recovered was now at risk of being washed away, nullifying their efforts. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the team assessed their options. To resolve the issue, they concluded that installing a new screen was crucial. However, this was not a quick fix. Replacing the screen would be a time-consuming task, likely taking up to 2 months. During this period, their gold recovery operations would be significantly hindered, putting additional pressure on the team. Tony's big gamble on the new system, which had initially promised to boost their gold yield by 50%, had, at this moment, failed to deliver the expected results. The setbacks were considerable, but Tony and his team were no strangers to trouble. They knew that mining was filled with challenges and that perseverance was key to eventual success. As they gathered around to discuss the next steps, the atmosphere was tense but resolute. Tony's leadership was crucial in these moments. He methodically outlined the tasks ahead, emphasizing the importance of precision and teamwork. The crew, despite the frustrations of the day, rallied together with a shared determination to overcome the obstacles. The team began the difficult process of planning for the screen replacement. They inventoried their supplies, ordered the necessary parts, and strategized the most efficient way to execute the repair without further compromising their operation. Each member of the crew was assigned specific roles to ensure that the downtime was minimized and that once the new screen was in place, they could resume operations at full capacity. During the interim, they also revisited their maintenance protocols to prevent future blockages. Regular inspections and more frequent cleanouts of the discharge pipe were integrated into their routine to lessen the risk of similar issues arising again. The experience, though challenging, became a learning opportunity, strengthening the team's resolve and operational efficiency. As the crew gathered for their weekly debrief, the atmosphere was a mix of exhaustion and determination. Tony addressed the group, reflecting on the past week's challenges. They had attempted to get the Moose Creek Trommel up and running, but the endeavor had been far from successful. Despite the setbacks, Tony remained optimistic and expressed his intention to make the system work as he had envisioned. He acknowledged the potential of the trommel, but emphasized the need to keep their other sluice boxes operational in the meantime. The crew members exchanged weary greetings, clearly fatigued from their efforts. One of them voiced the collective frustration, noting how the Moose Creek Trommel had turned into a lawn ornament after all the time and energy invested into it. They discussed the issues they had faced. Within just 10 minutes of operation, the trommel had failed to move the gravel properly. The water had nowhere to go, causing it to back up and blow the hose off. The rocks were too large to pass through the 4-inch holes, creating a major blockage. The conversation then shifted to their other equipment. Despite the disappointment with the trommel, they had experienced some success with the shaker deck. It had run for 7 consecutive days, totaling around 65 to 70 hours. This was a small victory amidst the challenges, and Tony suggested they should weigh the material processed by the shaker deck to assess their progress. The team agreed, knowing that every bit of gold they recovered brought them closer to their goals. As the team gathered around to weigh the week's gold haul, there was a sense of cautious optimism. They had faced numerous challenges, but now it was time to see the fruits of their labor. Tony and his crew carefully placed the gold onto the scales, eager to see the results. The old-timer tailings, which had been a consistent source of gold, had produced 121 ounces so far, averaging 60.5 ounces a week. This consistency was crucial for their overall success. They watched as the numbers climbed on the scale, starting at 50, then 70, and finally settling at 77.08 ounces. Tony's decision to continue processing the older tailings had proven wise, adding another $146,000 in gold to their total. It was essentially free money, as Tony put it, a fortunate windfall from what previous miners had left behind. The team marveled at their good fortune, grateful for the remnants of gold left by those who had mined the area before them. With the current price of gold, every ounce they recovered was a significant boost to their finances. Encouraged by this success, they decided to keep processing more tailings. Shifting focus, they discussed the performance of the Trommel over the week. It had run reliably without any major breakdowns, clocking in about 160 hours of operation. This reliability was a welcome change, and the team felt more confident in the Trommel's potential going forward. Tony knew that to reach their season goal of 3,000 ounces, they needed to average at least 215 ounces each week. As they began weighing the rest of the gold, the numbers climbed steadily, from 80 to 190, and finally 197.56 ounces. Though just shy of their weekly target, it was still a substantial amount. When the final tally came in, they had a total of 274 ounces, valued at $500,000. It was a solid week's work. The shaker deck had proven its worth, running smoothly and efficiently. The Trommel, despite earlier setbacks, was also performing well. As the crew gathered around, Tony asked, "So what's our season total right now?" The response came quickly, 1,566.48 ounces. They were halfway to their goal, worth almost $3 million. However, with only 2 months left in the season, Tony knew they were cutting it close. Despite the impressive amount of gold they had recovered so far, the pressure was on. They needed to double their efforts if they were to reach the ambitious target Tony had set. The team exchanged determined glances, fully aware of the challenges that lay ahead. On the other side, Parker Schnabel is having some trouble of his own and has called Tony in for a huge favor. For Parker so far, this year's crew was proving to be exceptional, driven by high gold prices and a relentless determination to maximize their output. With gold prices soaring to a record $1,900 per ounce, the stakes were higher than ever. Parker Schnabel, leading the charge with his mining empire, was focused on banking enough gold to fuel expansion. "We're pushing through as much ground as we can," Parker explained, emphasizing the intensity of their efforts. "Keeping ahead of Big Red and ensuring we have enough pay dirt is our big challenge now." After 4 years of operation, Big Red's wash plant was down to less than a month's worth of pay dirt. The pressure was on to capitalize on the current high gold prices and make the most of their time. "The high gold prices give us even more incentive to go all out while we're here," Parker continued, aware of the volatile nature of the mining industry. "We need to make the best of it because this opportunity might not last forever." Meanwhile, just 4 miles away at the Promised Land, the crew around Slucifer was facing a similar situation. "Everything's been running smoothly," one crew member remarked, "but we're definitely nearing the end of our pay dirt." Parker Schnabel's Promised Land claim sprawled across 2,000 acres of rich gold-bearing ground, much of it locked in solid permafrost. The crew had diligently worked through 24 acres of pay dirt that opened up at the start of the season. Now, with only a week's thawed period left to run, they marveled at how quickly they had exhausted this precious resource. In the Yukon, where permafrost posed a constant challenge, securing enough thawed ground was critical. Without it, the wash plants would sit idle and their mining operations would grind to a halt. Parker knew the worst-case scenario, running out of pay dirt with nowhere else prepared to continue mining. Urgently needing new ground, Parker set his sights on a promising piece along the Indian River. Spanning 1 million square feet and located 2 miles downstream from his camp, Parker held the water license to mine this area, though not the ground itself. Time was of the essence, as the license for this plot was expiring soon. There was no room for hesitation. They had to move quickly and efficiently to extract as much gold as possible before their opportunity slipped away. But the problem was, the ground he needed to mine belonged to Tony Beets. Last season, Tony had lost his water license on the Indian River and had approached Parker about sharing his license to access the airstrip area. However, their negotiations had fallen through, leaving Parker in a difficult situation. Though there had been tensions between them in the past, Parker understood that business often required calling in favors. He hoped Tony would grasp the urgency of his predicament and be open to reaching a new agreement. Deciding to address the issue head-on, Parker made his way to Tony's camp. He knocked on the door and was greeted by Tony himself, who invited him inside. They exchanged brief pleasantries before Parker broached the topic. He explained that they were nearing the end of their mining operations on their licensed ground downstream from Tony's area, near the airstrip. He acknowledged Tony's previous work in that area, but emphasized their readiness with a substantial amount of equipment to move in and start mining. Parker expressed his desire to negotiate a new agreement that would allow them to access the ground. Tony listened attentively, considering Parker's proposal. He understood the value of the ground and recognized Parker's need for additional mining territory. After a moment of reflection, Tony responded thoughtfully, indicating his willingness to discuss potential business arrangements. As they sat down to talk, Parker felt cautiously optimistic. Negotiating with Tony was always complex, but he was determined to find common ground that would benefit both parties. He hoped that their conversation would lead to a mutually advantageous agreement, ensuring the continuity of his mining operations without any interruptions. Luckily, the two reached an agreement. Tony agreed to allow Parker's team to mine the ground near the airstrip, despite his initial concerns. They discussed the details, including potential royalties and the timeline for Parker's operations. Parker was taken aback by Tony's unexpected cooperation. "This is a new Tony I'm not used to," he admitted, surprised by how smoothly the negotiations had gone. Tony reassured Parker, "I think the agreement is fair. If I don't get another license in a couple of years, you can have the ground. We understand the need for more mining territory." Parker expressed gratitude, acknowledging that they would be paying higher royalties than expected. "We're always hungry for ground," Parker remarked, realizing the significance of securing this additional area for their operations. As they concluded their meeting, Parker reflected, "That was definitely one of the stranger meetings I've had with Tony Beets, but we got another block of ground. That's the best part." With the deal settled, Parker and his team could now focus on maximizing their mining efforts in the newly acquired territory. The challenge ahead was significant, but they were ready to put in the hard work needed to capitalize on this opportunity. Parker swiftly mobilized his crew after securing the agreement with Tony Beets. He ordered an excavator, a rock truck, and a two-man stripping crew to the airstrip, where they faced a monumental task: stripping a massive 600,000 square foot cut down to pay dirt ready for Slucifer to move in by the following week. "I'm crossing my fingers that everything's going to be done on time," Parker remarked, surveying the bustling scene. "But we're so behind schedule here at the airstrip." Parker personally tasked his new hire, JM, with leading the stripping operation. "We need to get this 600,000 square foot cut ready for Slucifer in just 4 days, he instructed, emphasizing the urgency of the job. JM felt the pressure mounting. "I've got 20 things to do, and only time for 10, he muttered to himself. "We're stretched thin with just the two of us here. It feels like we need an army, but we'll do what we can." Meanwhile, 3.5 miles away at the Promised Land, Foreman Mitch Blaschke was closing in on the last of the thawed pay dirt. Progress at the airstrip was surpassing Parker's initial expectations, driven by the efficient operation of their wash plants. They were moving through the ground at a remarkable pace, much faster than they had originally planned. Parker stressed the critical importance of opening up the airstrip cut without delay. Their strategy hinged on seamlessly transitioning from their current pay dirt to the newly prepared area. The urgency stemmed from the looming risk. If the airstrip wasn't ready in time for Slucifer, Parker's most lucrative wash plant, it would sit idle. This would result in a staggering loss of $4,000 per hour in potential gold production. Aware of the financial implications, Parker made it a priority to stay informed about their progress. He decided to touch base with JM, the leader of the stripping crew tasked with the mammoth job of preparing the 600,000 square foot cut. Through radio communication, Parker confirmed they were rapidly approaching their target. JM reassured him that despite the challenges, they were on schedule and prepared to handle any obstacles that might arise. As tension mounted and the clock ticked down, Parker and his team remained steadfast in their efforts. They were driven not only by the pressure to meet their operational goals.
This should work pretty good. All can flow in there. If you got patience, that'd be the cheapest way to do it. And then you'd be awfully surprised on how much dirt you can move in a day.
In the high-stakes world of gold mining, Tony Beets emerges as a seasoned veteran whose strategic decisions and relentless pursuit of efficiency define the mid-season narrative of gold hunting at Paradise Hill. This analysis will delve into the mechanisms, challenges, and dynamics of Tony's operation, exploring how his approach not only aims to maximize financial gains, but also navigates the complex balance between rapid technological advancement and environmental considerations. Midway through the mining season at Paradise Hill, the gold collected so far hasn't been as much as everyone hoped. Despite this, Tony Beets, a miner with more than 30 years of experience, isn't discouraged. Understanding the stakes, Tony has decided to upgrade his mining equipment. This decision comes at a time when gold prices are high, showing his quick reaction to market trends and his desire to make the most out of the current situation.
I didn't become 65 years old and stand on the monitor, so I'm gonna get an employee to do this. Okay, you see what I do? Yeah, and then it moves.
Upgrading equipment may seem like a big expense, but for Tony, it's a necessary step to stay ahead in the game. In mining, time is money. Literally, each hour of delay can mean a significant loss of potential income, especially when gold prices are up. By bringing in better equipment, Tony aims to dig up gold faster and more efficiently.
I don't think there's a whole lot that you can mess up here. It's really just spraying a bunch of water at the side of the hill. Can't really mess up too bad other than letting it go.
This is crucial because even a small increase in the amount of gold mined can lead to a big increase in earnings. Tony's willingness to make big changes in the middle of the season shows his flexible approach to mining. It's not just about sticking to a plan, it's about adapting to how things are going. This adaptability is what keeps him competitive despite the ups and downs of mining work. The high gold prices play a big role in Tony's decision-making. When prices are high, every little bit of gold extracted is worth more. This increases the pressure to maximize output. By upgrading his equipment, Tony is betting that he'll be able to take full advantage of these high prices before they drop again. In the world of gold mining, staying ahead of the competition is key. Other miners are also looking to grab a piece of the pie, especially when gold prices are up. Tony's move to upgrade his equipment isn't just about digging up more gold. It's also about staying a step ahead of other miners who might be slower to react to market conditions. Halfway through the season, Tony Beets has shown that he's not one to sit back when things aren't going as expected. His decision to upgrade his mining equipment in response to underwhelming gold hauls and high market prices is a strategic move to boost productivity and profitability. It reflects his deep understanding of the mining business and his ability to quickly adapt to changing circumstances. This bold approach is likely to help him maintain a competitive edge in the demanding world of gold mining. Tony Beets' gold mining operation at Paradise Hill is a high-tech affair, far from just simple manual labor. It involves sophisticated planning and the use of advanced machinery.
I mean, the water has been fine all season, but no sooner you do something new, something has got out.
Better go figure out what the is happening.
A clear example of this is Tony's recent decision to switch from traditional steel pipes to modern plastic ones in constructing a new water pipeline. This move showcases his ability to adopt new technologies that promise more efficiency and durability, which are crucial for the harsh demands of mining. The new plastic pipes are praised for their durability and ease of installation, which are significant improvements over the older steel pipes. These benefits are crucial in mining, where equipment must withstand harsh conditions and continuous use. The use of more modern materials can lead to fewer breakdowns and maintenance issues, allowing the mining operation to run smoother and without unnecessary interruptions. Despite the benefits, integrating new technologies into an established operation comes with its own set of challenges. First, there is the complexity of installation. Even though plastic pipes are easier to install than steel, setting up an extensive new pipeline involves careful planning and execution to ensure everything works correctly. This process can be complicated and requires skilled labor, which might not always be readily available. Moreover, environmental concerns are also significant. The mining industry is under increasing pressure to reduce its environmental impact. The use of plastic, while beneficial in terms of durability and efficiency, raises questions about environmental sustainability. Plastics can have a long-term impact on the environment, especially if not managed properly after their life cycle ends. Tony's directive to his team to tack it, tack it, tack it shows the urgency and precision required in these operations. Each command reflects the high-pressure environment where every minute counts. This intensity is necessary to ensure that the installation of new technology goes smoothly and quickly, minimizing downtime and maximizing efficiency. Introducing new technology into any operation involves navigating complexities and potential setbacks.
Put this pipe in 30 years ago, but like with all the heavy traffic on it, we must have squished the pipe over a little bit maybe.
For Tony, This means balancing the immediate benefits of modern materials with the long-term operational and environmental impacts. It requires constant oversight and adaptability to manage these challenges effectively. Tony Beets' decision to use modern plastic pipes in his gold mining operation represents a forward-thinking approach to accepting technological advancements. While these innovations bring efficiency and durability, they also introduce new challenges in terms of installation complexity and environmental concerns. Tony's ability to command with urgency and ensure precise execution highlights the demanding nature of the mining industry, where success depends on both the robustness of the technology used and the effectiveness of the people using it. This blend of high-tech solutions and tactical planning is crucial for overcoming the operational challenges that come with technological upgrades. The prices of gold are constantly changing, which adds a significant amount of stress and urgency to mining operations like Tony Beets. Every decision and action can have a huge impact on profits because of these fluctuations. This dynamic environment forces miners to be very aware of time management and operational efficiency. Tony Beets' operation is heavily influenced by the current high prices of gold. He knows that the opportunity to make substantial profits can disappear if gold prices drop. This possibility pushes him and his team to work quickly and efficiently. The goal of extracting 500 ounces of gold is not just a number. It represents a significant financial gain. Achieving this would mean not just covering operational costs, but potentially making large profits. The potential to earn big from extracting gold makes the business enticing, but it's far from guaranteed success. The price of gold can be very unpredictable, influenced by many global factors that can change rapidly. This volatility means that even if miners like Tony do everything right, they could still end up losing money if the prices fall at the wrong time.
That looks pretty nice, huh?
1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
6? It's amazing how coarse that is.
Every day, miners have to balance the potential rewards against the risks of their investments in time, labor, and equipment not paying off. When gold prices are high, the pressure to mine as much as possible is intense. Every hour of work, every piece of equipment, and every bit of labor must be optimized to maximize output while the conditions are favorable. However, this can also lead to rushed decisions or pushing equipment and workers too hard, which can have its own drawbacks, such as increased maintenance issues or workplace accidents. Tony's focus on not wasting any time reflects a critical business calculation: the ratio of input to output. In mining, input includes the labor hours, the wear and tear on machinery, the cost of running equipment, and many other operational expenses. The output is the gold extracted, which needs to outweigh the inputs for the venture to be profitable. This calculation becomes more uncertain in a volatile market. A slight shift in gold prices can turn a profitable operation into a losing one overnight. Overall, the fluctuating nature of gold prices adds a complex layer of economic pressure on miners. Tony Beets' insistence on efficiency and speed is a strategic response to these market conditions. He aims to maximize the window of opportunity while gold prices are favorable. However, this focus also exposes the operation to risks associated with a volatile market. The world of gold mining is thus a balancing act, managing resources wisely, making quick decisions, and always keeping an eye on market trends to navigate the unpredictable waves of the gold market. Tony Beets' gold mining operation involves significant undertakings, one of which is the construction of a long pipeline to connect the processing plant to a water source. This half-mile pipeline is not just a practical necessity for mining operations, but also a symbol of how human endeavors interact with and impact the natural environment. The primary purpose of the pipeline is to supply water essential for gold extraction processes.
What about 80 pop?
80 pop, that stuff that we got rained out last year?
Yeah, all you have to do is dig a drain and you can get the drain it.
We have no choice, there's a lake there.
Oh, I know.
In mining, water is used for sorting, sifting, and cleaning gold from other materials. Without a reliable water source, the operation could not function efficiently or might even come to a halt. Therefore, constructing a pipeline over such a distance emphasizes the scale and ambition of Tony's operation, reflecting the extensive planning and resources involved in modern mining activities. While the pipeline is crucial for the operation, it also raises significant environmental concerns. Any construction activity, especially over a large area, can disrupt local ecosystems. The laying of the pipeline might involve clearing vegetation, disturbing wildlife habitats, and altering the landscape. Additionally, the ongoing operation of the pipeline and the mining activity it supports can lead to pollution and other long-term environmental impacts. The decision to use modern plastic pipes, which are praised for their durability and ease of installation, is an example of trying to find a balance between operational efficiency and environmental responsibility. While these pipes might offer a more durable solution compared to traditional materials, materials, reducing the frequency of replacements and potentially minimizing disturbances to the landscape. They also introduce plastic materials into the environment, which can have their own long-term impacts. The construction and operation of the pipeline might lead to irreversible changes in the local landscape. These changes can affect not just the physical appearance of the area, but also its ecological functions. For instance, changes in the water flow and the introduction of foreign materials can alter the local flora and fauna, potentially leading to a decrease in biodiversity. In addition to the direct environmental impacts, there are also considerations related to how the local community and regulatory bodies view such projects. Mining operations often face strict regulations aimed at protecting the environment, which can influence how projects like the pipeline are planned and implemented.
Fine tailings mixed with gravel, and that's really good for building because it has the fine sand in it, and when you drive on it, it packs and it becomes really hard.
Moreover, local communities might have concerns about the environmental impacts of such projects, which can affect the operation's social license to operate. The construction of the pipeline in Tony Beets mining operation is a complex undertaking with both practical necessities and environmental implications. While it symbolizes the ambition and scale of human industrial activities, it also highlights the ongoing challenge of balancing these activities with the need to protect and preserve the natural environment. As the operation continues, it will be crucial to monitor and manage these environmental impacts, ensuring that the pursuit of resources does not come at an unsustainable cost to the environment. Tony Beets' gold mining operation is not just a series of complex mechanical processes. It's also a human endeavor deeply affected by team dynamics and the mental and emotional states of the individuals involved. The pressure to maximize output while navigating the fluctuations of gold prices creates a work environment filled with both hope and harsh realities. The drive to extract every possible ounce of gold places immense pressure on everyone involved in the operation. Each member of Tony's team understands that their performance can directly influence whether the day ends in a significant financial gain or a disheartening setback. This continuous pressure can affect workers' morale, making their jobs not just physically demanding, but also mentally taxing. Despite the challenges, the potential for a substantial payoff serves as a strong motivator. The hope of hitting a big find can energize the team, pushing them to work harder and more efficiently. However, this motivation is constantly tested by the volatile nature of gold mining, where long hours and intense labor might yield little or no reward. Balancing this hope with the reality of the day-to-day grind requires careful management and leadership. Tony's leadership style is crucial in this setting.
Coming back to know that we have a cut prepared, ready, and all we need to do is set up a box and run it through.
How he communicates, makes decisions, and supports his team significantly impacts their performance and overall job satisfaction. Effective leadership can inspire confidence and loyalty, which are essential for maintaining morale when the stakes are high and the work is hard. Conversely, a lack of supportive leadership can worsen stress and lead to burnout. In such a high-stakes environment, the bond of the team is of utmost importance. Team members must rely on each other's skills and strengths to efficiently work towards common goals. Clear and effective communication becomes a lifeline, ensuring that everyone is aligned and aware of their roles and responsibilities. This communication must be consistent and clear to avoid errors that could lead to accidents or losses, further complicating the operation. Handling the outcomes, whether success or failure, also tests the team dynamics. Celebrating successes together can boost morale and strengthen team bonds, but managing failures is equally important. How the team deals with setbacks can determine their resilience and willingness to continue striving for success. A supportive environment that encourages learning from mistakes rather than penalizing them can help maintain a positive and productive work atmosphere. In conclusion, the human factors in Tony Beets' gold mining operation are as critical as the technological and logistical aspects. The pressure to maximize output can weigh heavily on the team, but with strong leadership, effective communication, and a supportive culture, the team can navigate the challenges they face. Understanding and addressing these human elements is essential for sustaining motivation and morale in the face of intense pressures and the unpredictable nature of gold mining. This focus on human dynamics is what transforms a challenging job into a shared mission, where every team member plays a crucial role in chasing the collective dream of striking gold. In the world of gold mining, reflecting on past decisions and considering future prospects is crucial for ongoing success. Tony Beets' experience illustrates this point well, particularly in his late adoption of newer, more effective technologies, such as the shaker deck. This reflection on past choices and the continuous adaptation to new methodologies define not only the evolution of a mining operation, but also its potential for future achievements.
I don't like like that long drive, because that way I don't show up half the time. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to build an airstrip right beside the dredge.
Tony's decision to eventually incorporate advanced technologies like the shaker deck into his mining operation, although later than perhaps ideal, shows a willingness to learn and adapt. This reflection is crucial because it highlights a critical aspect of mining, the need to continually assess and reassess the tools and methods being used. In industries like mining, where efficiency and cost-effectiveness are important, sticking too long with outdated methods can lead to missed opportunities and financial losses. By looking back at past decisions, Tony and his team can identify what has worked and what hasn't. This kind of analysis helps in understanding the impact of certain choices and in planning how to avoid similar mistakes or oversights in the future. It also allows the team to benchmark their current practices against past results, providing a clear picture of progress and areas that need improvement. The adoption of new technologies in any field comes with its challenges, but the benefits often outweigh the initial hurdles. For Tony, integrating something like the shaker deck later in the game likely offered a fresh perspective on how modern technology could enhance productivity. This shift not only serves as a lesson in the importance of staying updated with technological advancements, but also underscores the need to be flexible and open to change. In the fast-paced world of mining, being late to adopt new technology can be a significant disadvantage. However, the key takeaway from Tony's experience is the recognition of this fact and the subsequent adjustment in strategy. It shows other miners and industries alike that it is never too late to embrace innovations that can drive efficiency and increase output. Reflecting on past decisions not only helps in learning from mistakes, but also in strategic planning for the future.
You see how smooth that is now? But you can see over here it's still a bit rough. It means I have to shave it a bit more. We're trying to get this as smooth as possible, and that makes it easier when it melts to fuse.
By understanding the outcomes of previous choices, Tony can better forecast which technologies and methods will be most effective moving forward. This strategic foresight is crucial in maintaining a competitive edge in the highly volatile gold mining industry. For future prospects, leveraging both past experiences and current technological advancements can lead to more informed, strategic decisions that optimize productivity and profitability. It also involves a proactive approach to exploring and integrating emerging technologies that could further revolutionize mining practices. The reflection on past decisions and the anticipation of future prospects are integral to the growth and sustainability of any operation, particularly in resource-intensive industries like mining. Tony Beets' experience with the late adoption of the shaker deck provides a valuable lesson in the importance of continual learning and adaptation. By evaluating past decisions and staying updated on technological advancements, mining operations can improve their efficiency and adaptability, ensuring long-term success and viability in an ever-changing market landscape. Tony Beets' operation provides more than just a look into the tough and complex process of extracting gold. It also offers a form of spectacle that blends real mining activities with elements of drama and entertainment. This fusion creates a captivating narrative that not only educates viewers about mining, but also keeps them engaged through the ups and downs of the operation. Gold mining, by nature, is a challenging and risky venture, filled with moments of high tension and potential rewards. However, when it is presented on television or in the media, it often takes on the characteristics of a drama. Each significant discovery or technical failure is not just a part of the mining process, it is also a scene in an ongoing story designed to hold the audience's attention.
I kind of assumed that I wasn't going to be the first one, but apparently I was, and I'm not too upset about it. I won't be the last for sure this season.
This storytelling approach transforms the daily grind of mining into an engaging narrative, with each episode crafted to build suspense and emotional engagement. The dramatization of gold mining operations like Tony Beets can lead to a skewed perception of the industry. While the spectacle adds excitement and a deeper human element to the portrayal of mining, it might also oversimplify or overlook the more mundane, yet critical aspects of the work. The focus on dramatic moments can overshadow the technical expertise and continuous hard work that are essential to mining. This can make the industry appear more glamorous or action-packed than it typically is, potentially misleading viewers about the realities of mining life. The challenge for producers and participants in shows like these is to balance authenticity with entertainment. While the spectacle of mining draws viewers, there is a responsibility to portray the industry accurately. This includes showing not only the moments of triumph or disaster, but also the everyday challenges and the careful planning and safety measures involved in mining. By providing a more rounded depiction, the media can educate the public about the complexities of mining, including the environmental impacts, the technological advancements, and the human factors that play crucial roles in the success or failure of operations. As mining operations are packaged for entertainment, questions arise about the authenticity of what is shown. Is the audience seeing a true representation of mining or a version that has been enhanced for dramatic effect? This question is significant because it influences how people understand and appreciate the work and risks involved in mining. The spectacle can serve to highlight the industry's challenges and innovations, but it should not drift too far from reality. The spectacle of gold mining in Tony Beets' operation provides both entertainment and insight into a complex industry. However, it also brings challenges in maintaining the authenticity of the portrayal. By blending real mining activities with elements of drama, the operation creates a compelling narrative that captures viewer interest. It is important for such portrayals to balance the spectacle with accurate representations of the mining process.
Anyway, we'll get the out of here. Finally hurry this process up a bit. Man, here we are. Late as is already in the season. So let's get it down and voila.
Ensuring that the public gains a realistic understanding of the industry's demands and achievements. In conclusion, Tony Beets' mid-season exploits at Paradise Hill involve a multifaceted approach to gold mining. It's a blend of strategic foresight, technological advancement, intense human effort, and environmental calculus. While the operation aims to destroy competition with record-breaking gold discoveries, it also brings to the forefront the broader implications of such endeavors. The balance between achieving immediate financial gains and considering long-term impacts defines the subtle challenge of modern-day gold mining. This operation, balanced between immense potential and formidable challenges, continues to evolve, reflecting both the legacy and the future of gold mining.